So let me just do it once again. So welcome back aliens, this is Navin Reddy from Telusko Hindi, and in this video we are going to talk about how to be an iOS developer. I mean, does it matter to be an iOS developer? Yes, of course, So we are living in a world where everyone wants to do something new, So I was talking to one person yesterday, and that guy is, he has an attitude of doing everything different. In fact, I was having this attitude of doing different things. In fact, when I was in my college, I wanted to, so everyone was going for .NET, I went for Java. Just because everyone is going for .NET, I went for Java. I was not having I was not having any knowledge about Java, but since everyone is going for .NET, I thought I should go for Java, and then I went for Java. So I have this habit of doing something new every time. Why iOS? So first of all, let me talk about something about iOS. So everyone knows about iOS, right? But since there are people they don't know about iOS, so let me tell something about that. So first of all, we are living in a world where we are coming with new devices every day, right? So if you can see, if you go to Amazon.in or Amazon.com, you can see there are lots of phones available. In fact, lots of phones, right? In fact, 85% of the mobile market is captured by Android OS, and everyone knows about Android. And just give me a hand raise, how many of you use Android phones? Everyone, right? Hardly anyone would be using Symbian phone, one or two, and no one might be using Windows phone nowadays, it's gone. And then there are people who use iPhone, right? And iPhone people hate Android phones, and Android people hate iPhones, right? That's a different thing. I love both, okay? I'm a big fan of Android, and I'm a big fan of Apple too. So I'm on both the sides. So that's the wrong thing to do. But let's say, so we have two big OS which is trending nowadays, which is iOS and Android. Okay, so Windows is nowhere. No one uses Windows Phone nowadays. So why iOS is why Android is so famous is because Android is open source. Every company, they are going for Android OS. Example, let's say HTC, we have Samsung, we have LG. They all go with the same Android OS, right? But when it comes to iPhones or Apple company, they have their own proprietary OS, which is iOS. Okay, so iOS is for mobile phones. For laptops, they use Macintosh, which is Mac OS, right? And so they have, for laptops, they have Mac OS. For mobile phones or iPads, they have iOS. Now, what is the advantage of knowing iPhone? What is the advantage of knowing iOS? Yeah. So, is it echoing a lot? Hello. Is it echoing? Okay, let me just reconnect that, I guess. How about now? Is it echoing now also? Should I continue with the things? Yeah, so iOS is for Apple devices. So if you are using iPhone, if you're using iPad, you'll be having iOS. Okay, the current version of iOS which we use is 10.2. So if you're watching this today, it's 10.2. I guess from on January 10th, which is day after tomorrow, they are going for 10.3, which is for iPhone users, I guess, iPhone 7 users. Unfortunately, I'm using iPhone 6s, so I don't have, I will not get that update, I guess, of 10.3, feeling sad about that, but that's okay. I'm happy with 10.2. That's what you have to say, right, when you don't get something. Okay, so what is the advantage of learning iOS? See, the market is, the future of devices is mobile phones, okay? No one will be using laptops and tablets in future. Everyone will be using mobile devices, which is mobile phone, maybe high-end phones, right? There are people, they want to buy high-end phones, doesn't matter what their budget is. There are people who are earning maybe 20,000 per month, 30,000 per month, they still want iPhone. I don't know why they spend so much of money, but let's say if you talk about the mobile market, everyone buys high-end devices. When I say high-end devices, they buy Samsung phones, Samsung S7 Edge, they buy iPhones, right? Not normal iPhone. No one uses iPhone 5s, right? That's an old thing. Everyone goes for iPhone 6, iPhone 6s, and maybe iPhone 7, right? So in future, everyone will be using mobile devices. No one want to use laptops or desktops, right? Now, so when you say the future is iPhone. When you say the future is, I mean not iPhone, the future is mobile devices, which OS to go for? So of course, when you want to go be a developer, of course you will be Android developer or iOS developer. The problem is there are lots of Android developers now, especially in India. You know, everyone want to learn Android and everyone is learning Android, right? So just just wave your hand if you know. So let's say if you're going on the street and say, hey, anyone Android developer, there will be 10 people who will be say, hey, I know Android, right? It's that simple, because everyone knows Android. Because to learn Android, see, we are living in a world where everyone want to get into, this mobile world, a development world. So let's say if you are a 12th standard student, what you will do is you will go to YouTube, you will learn free Android videos, you will watch all those videos. Now how to practice those videos? So you have a laptop, on your laptop you will install Android Studio and then you can be an Android developer, right? The problem is when it comes to iOS development, you don't have much people around, right? And whoever knows, they are working for a big company. So there's a big demand for iOS developer and no one is focusing on those things, right? So if you want to get a good job, if you're thinking about your future and if you are confused what to do, don't go for a market where you have lots of competition. Go for a market where you don't have a competition. If you learn Android, you have to compete with people. If you learn iOS, you don't have to compete because no one is there in the market. If you know iOS, you are hired. It's that simple, right? Provided you have at least 1 or 2 apps on App Store. Okay, so now question arises, how to be an iOS developer? That's the main point, right? Step 1, to be an iOS developer, you need a MacBook. I know. Okay, that's scary, right? So the problem is, see, when you say iOS, which language we use? So for iOS, we have to use Objective-C or Swift. So these are 2 languages using which you can make iOS apps. Again, there's a different thing called as hybrid apps, which can be made with the help of C#, which can be done with the help of JavaScript, but those are the hybrid apps. Industry need people who can work on Objective-C or Swift. So if you want to be an iOS developer, you need to learn either Swift or you have to learn Objective-C. Okay. Now to learn Swift, because Objective-C is an old thing, right? I mean, it was an old generation. Nowadays, everyone wants to go for Swift because the present and the future is Swift. Okay, so now how to learn Swift? It is very easy. Just go to YouTube. There are thousands of videos on Swift programming, right? Or you can go to Udemy. You can pay some amount and you can learn Swift there. Or you can download free books for Swift. So you can go to Apple website. They provide you free books for Swift. Okay, yeah. So that's one thing. So if you learn Swift, you can be an iOS developer. Again, there are people who are saying, it is very costly and all this stuff. Like we have a comment from Khush Gandhi. He says it's very costly, but don't worry. We are thinking about future, right? Everyone talks about the cost, right? Just wait for the video to get end. We'll talk about the cost as well. So learn Swift. The thing is, where you will type your Swift. I mean, when you learn Java programming, we use IDE as NetBeans. We use Eclipse. When we work with Android, we use Android Studio. When we work with C programming, it is Turbo C++, right? So we have all those IDEs. So when it comes to Swift, the IDE which you have to use is Xcode. So it is Xcode. Okay, that's the IDE for Swift programming. So if you want to learn, if you want to work on Swift, if you want to execute it, you need Xcode. The amazing thing about Xcode, it is free. Xcode software is free. You don't have to pay for it. But the only problem is Xcode works on Mac OS. So that means you need Mac OS to install Xcode, and Mac OS only works on Mac machine, right? Again, there are alternatives now. We have Hackintosh, we have Mac on Cloud, we have certain options. So you can use those options as well. You can install Macintosh on Windows machine. Let's say if you have a Dell machine, you can install Hackintosh. But I don't know how that works, how comfortable you are with that. If you can do that, if you can install Hackintosh on Dell laptops, and if you can install Xcode on that, you are awesome. But let's say if you cannot do it, you need to buy a MacBook. Okay, and the moment I say this, you will click on the dislike button. I know. Okay, so now how to buy a MacBook? So because the cost of MacBook is very high, right? Everyone knows about that. Even if the new MacBook which is launched It's approximately 2,45,000 you have to pay for one MacBook. Not possible, right? So don't worry, you know, we don't just have so you don't have to buy a latest MacBook. You need a MacBook. You don't want high-end MacBook. You need a MacBook, right? So if you go to Amazon.in and you can search for MacBook there is a 2012 model MacBook. Okay, you can buy that one, which will cost you around 50,000 rupees or 52,000 rupees, right? You will say, now that is costly. Hold on. Why to buy a new machine? I don't understand why people want to buy a new machine at the first end. What you can do is you can go to OLX or you can buy a second-hand MacBook. Okay, I'm not asking you to buy a MacBook of 30,000 second-hand MacBook. You go to OLX.in or go to any second-hand website. I mean, any website which provides you second-hand material or second-hand devices. You can buy a MacBook for maybe 18 to 20,000 rupees, a second-hand MacBook. Okay, but trust me, that's an investment. So you can buy a MacBook which is second-hand from any dealer who provides second-hand MacBook, provided it works. You don't want to play games on that, right? You want that machine to secure your future. So think about that. If you want a good future to be, I mean, as a developer, you need to spend somewhere, right? You're paying a high fees in your colleges. You are paying high fees for institutes. You know, you learn Java by paying around 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 rupees, right, for a course. I'm just asking you to buy a machine which you can use as a normal machine also. Instead of playing game, you can use it for development. You can use it for watching movies. You can use it for you can write your own code. Let's say if you're in college now and your college needs some. You do some practical in college, you can do everything on Mac except Visual Studio, of course. But yeah, so you can do that. So you can buy a second machine which will cost you 20,000 rupees, okay, or maybe 25,000 rupees, but you have a MacBook with you. Now install, so you will be having Mac OS, install Xcode, and you can learn Swift. And trust me, Swift is one of the easiest language to learn. It is easier than Java, okay. So there are lots of tutorials available on YouTube for Swift programming. You can watch that and you can practice on MacBook. And that's how you can learn Swift. And after learning Swift, you can say you know Swift. But hold on. If you say you know Swift, I can't trust you, right? You have to prove yourself. Now, how do you prove yourself? It's very easy. Make apps. How difficult is that? I mean, how to make an app? That's a difficult thing, right? Because if you're a fresher, you don't know how to make an app. Again, go to YouTube and search for videos on making a project on iOS, and you do have videos on that. Just go to those videos and watch videos. The same thing which they are doing, do it. You know, copy paste. So whatever they do it. And once you run your first code, you will feel awesome. And trust me, you will feel awesome. Now question arises, how will you test it on the phone? You will be having your friends, right? So talk to your friends, anyone, I mean, you know, in your friend circle, at least one person will be having an iPhone, maybe iPhone 5s or 4s. You can test your application on that device also. In fact, Xcode will provide you an emulator where you can run your app. But let's say if you want to get a real feel, you can use your friend's mobile phone to install it. Okay, you don't have to buy an iPhone for that. You can use your friend's phone to test it. And trust me, when you learn iOS, I mean when you learn Swift programming, if you have an app made by you, trust me, your confidence level will go up. Plus, you can prove to society, you can prove to your friends. I mean, I'm not asking you to prove yourself. Okay, I'm not asking you to prove to others. You have to prove to yourself that you can do something. So your app is done. So you have learned Swift, you have a MacBook with you, which will not cost you more than 20,000 rupees. You have Xcode, you have made an app now. Now it is time to deploy that app so that the world can see it, right? So you can deploy your app on App Store. Now the only concern is, you know, when you make an Android app and when you deploy that app on Play Store, it is deployed in 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so you have to deploy it, and then Google will verify something, and then they will say, okay, you are good to go. The problem starts when you want to go for iOS, because when you deploy your app on App Store, now Apple is very strict in this case. Apple believes that they want to provide a good experience to the user. I know if you go for Android apps, there are certain apps on Play Store which doesn't work, but iOS apps always works because that goes into verification. So Apple takes maybe 1 week to verify your app, and after 1 week you will get some bug report. So they will verify the app and they will send you the bug report, and then you have to do some modification and deploy. Now in some sense it is bad, right? They are not deploying your app. In the other sense, they are helping you to make a good app, right? And not everyone can deploy app on App Store, okay? So make a good application and deploy it on App Store. The moment you deploy it on App Store, trust me, you will be getting calls from the companies. In fact, or if you're not getting the call from the company, other companies, what you can do is apply for the company. Because see, in India also we have lots of companies who want iOS developer, because every company needs their own app now, right? So they want Android app, they want iOS app, they also want Windows app, it doesn't matter. So what they want, Android app and they want iOS app, right? So they are searching for iOS developer. Okay, so yeah, so you can deploy your app on App Store. When you apply to any company, you can send the link of your app, and trust me, if they can see your app, you will be getting hired for sure, because there is a lots of requirement for iOS developer. Now the problem is to upload your app on App Store, you need to be a developer member of Apple, okay? And again, you have to pay for that. You have to pay $99 to be a Apple developer. $99, which simply means 6,200 rupees, maybe. Yeah. So you have to pay 6,200 to be to be an iOS developer. I mean, you will get an option to upload your app. But think about it. If you think that is costly, don't do it. Don't learn iOS. There will be no job for you, right? If you want a job, you have to spend somewhere, right? If so, you have to spend 20,000 on your MacBook. You have to spend this MacBook, and you have to be a member of App Store. You will be paying around 6,000. So just imagine you are paying 30,000 rupees to be an iOS developer, and trust me, that's not a big amount, okay? If you're thinking that's a big amount, that's not a big amount, because if you want to learn Java, you will go to some institute, you will pay 30,000 rupees. If you want to learn Android, you will pay 30,000 rupees to learn that. Instead of spending your money on institutes, you can spend on yourself. And trust me, if you are committed, you can be an iOS developer, okay? So 20,000 for MacBook and 6,200, or maybe let's say 10,000 for your complete thing, or to be a member, okay? Yeah, so that's how you can be an iOS app developer. But you can also upload your apps. Let's say if you don't want to be into this genre of App Store, what you can do is you can upload your project on GitHub so that other people can use it. Not just GitHub, on any platform where you can upload your codes. Upload your code so that people can see what you have done in your project, and trust me, it will be helpful. So think about your future, okay? Don't just go in the flow, because everyone is going in the flow. They are like all into rat race of learning new technologies. All are going to colleges. You have to be different, right? How can you be different? By learning something which no one learns, and that is iOS. In fact, I have some of my students who are, some of the people who I know, they are learning iOS, so do it, okay? It will be helpful, and you will thank me for this. If you are trying to be, see, I'm not saying every one of you can be an iOS developer, but most of you can, okay? You just have to try it. It's all depend upon how much effort you're giving. It's all depend upon how much efforts plus commitment plus consistency. So these are the terms we have to use, okay? If you don't know programming, that's okay, because Swift is very basic. So if you're not good at programming, that's okay. Trust me, that's okay. To be an iOS developer, you need commitment. That's it. Okay? Don't think about money and all this stuff. In fact, see, money is important, but to earn more, you have to invest, right? If you're not investing on yourself, you're not thinking about your future. Okay? So that's how you became an iOS developer. Let me just go for some questions here. Okay, so let me just go with the first question. Okay, so yeah, so you have to use, so Objective C is C. So okay, so the topic is over. That's how you become iOS developer. If you have some more questions on iOS developer, you can just comment in the chat window or type in the chat window. I will try to answer that. Okay, so Objective C, yes, Objective C is C. Okay, but the only difference is way back when C was very famous. At that time, people wanted object concept, OOPS concept. So two languages evolved. One is C++ and one is Objective C. Two languages. Everyone used C++ and then some people used Objective C, and Apple adopted Objective C. Okay, so it's almost same. Make full depth video on database, and okay, I'm not that good with database, but we'll try to do that. Is it going live? So I'm live, yes, by using virtual machine. Devidas, yes, we can use virtual machine, okay. Yes, we can use virtual machine. Provided you have an i7 machine, you have i5 machine, then you can try it, because installing virtual machine on i3 machines, okay. Okay, but you can do that. See, it's not just about, okay, people are saying that, okay, you can see. So first ranker says VMware is also an option, bro, which is quite easy. I know it's an option, but the problem is, see, it's not just about Mac OS. First, you need a machine, maybe Dell machine. Then you will install Windows on it. Then you will install VMware on it. Then you will install Mac OS on it, and then you will install Xcode on it. Then you will run your emulator. Just imagine how many layers we have. And if you do that, you can learn iOS, but the problem is it will be very time consuming. The moment you say run, it will take 2-3 minutes to get pop-up. Okay, you can. So if you have patience in your life, you can do that. But I don't prefer that. So can we download Macintosh in Dell laptops? No, you cannot download directly. Like the way we install Windows or Ubuntu, that's not how we install Mac OS. Okay, there are some techniques. I don't know those techniques, but there are some techniques using which you can install Mac OS on Dell machines. Go to YouTube and search for it. Even I don't know how to install that, but there is a way. Okay. Right now I'm working on JFS. How efficient Hackintosh run? Okay, how efficiently Hackintosh run? No idea. I've never tried Hackintosh. I just heard about it, that you can use Hackintosh, but I've never tried it. The thing is, I'm using Mac, so I don't have to do all those stuff. So, but we should try, right? I should be trying all those things. Okay. So which language you should go for? I mean, I should know before learning Objective C. If you know C programming, that's enough. If you know C programming, you can learn Swift directly. Okay. So you said swing. Okay, Mukul, I'm not talking about swing. I'm talking about Swift. SHIFT. It is easier than Java. The only thing is, to run Swift, you need Mac machines. You need iOS devices. I mean iPhone. In India, it's very costly, right? Because in America, in US, MacBook is not that costly compared to the Indian price, and that's why people are not going for Swift. But you can buy the 2012 model, right? I mean, I don't know why people are not going for that. I don't know. See, there's one more concern here. Let's say if you want to buy a new laptop now, and if you are going to Amazon.in to search for different laptops, let's say there is a machine for 40,000 rupees, which is HP machine, which gives you a speed of maybe i5, 6th generation, and if there's a machine which is Mac, I mean the Apple machine, Mac machine, which is for 52,000 rupees, which is giving you i5 3rd generation. Of course, you will think that HP is faster than Mac. See, that's not the case. It's not just about hardware, it's also about the software. Windows is much slower compared to Mac OS. So it doesn't matter if you have i5 3rd generation, you are using Mac OS, which is much more efficient than Windows. So think about it. Okay, how much time it will take to learn Swift? Maybe 1 month. Okay, it's not that big. So don't just learn and implement. Okay, so it will take 1 month or 1.5 months for you to learn it. Next, so Bharat Man says, I don't know any programming, so which programming can I start? I don't know something about, okay. You can start with C, Bharat. If you're new to programming, start with C, go for C++, go for Java. I mean, you can directly start with Java, you can start with Java, but you can go in this step by step. Start with C, then C++, and then Java. Okay, so it's getting very difficult to scroll in my tab here. I have not bought my machine today, so I'm using a tab to see the questions. Okay, can you provide your WhatsApp number? No, I'm not going to provide my WhatsApp number on YouTube. Okay, how to? So David asked, previously I have asked you how to host Java web application, but OpenShift, yeah. So OpenShift server is down, so you have to upload your project on AWS now if you want to do that. But I will surely make a video on AWS in 1 month. Okay, because still I am working on my project. Once I get free, we can do that. So Arul says, I got 2009 MacBook. Yes, Arul, you can use it. You have a MacBook which doesn't matter which MacBook you have. In fact, in my office I have 2 MacBook. One is 2012 model, one is 2009 model, which is the white color. I don't know if you have that one. And in that I use Xcode, so it works. So Clinto says, I have used Hackintosh, but it's giving bad performance. Yes, I also heard about that. It doesn't perform well. Anil says, I have got a job in MSc with just watching. Oh, thank you so much, Anil. So you got the job in MNC by watching my videos. So that is what that's how I get the confidence, to make more videos. Thank you so much. Do share my videos, Anil. In VMware, Xcode will hang? Of course, in VMware, Xcode will hang. Next question. So Abhijit says he tried Hackintosh and is working perfectly. Okay, Abhijit, can you help? If it's possible for you, can you make a video on how to install Hackintosh on normal laptop and upload that on YouTube? Or you can send that video to me. I will upload that video on my channel. Okay, because people need help. Okay, so if you can help, please. I know 13 programs in your Java's basics. So can I continue learn Java? Yes, Bharat, you can continue learning Java. So Desh Mukh says, sir, please upload some Hibernate and Spring videos. So I'm uploading Hibernate videos. Okay, Spring will be coming soon. Rishabh, how much time it will take to learn Swift? If you're just learning it, 2 weeks. If you're learning it by implementing, 1.5 months. And it's all dependent upon your speed, how fast you pick up. For me, it took around 2 weeks to learn and implement, because I was knowing Java programming, so it was easier for me to pick up those things. But if you're new to programming, it will take you will take some time. Okay, so last 2 questions. Let's see what are those. Android versus iOS, which one provides more job in industry? Currently it is Android, because everyone wants Android developer, but in 1 year there will be high amount of iOS development job as well. In fact, there are vacancies for iOS developer also, but they want efficient people. They don't want freshers for iOS. They want people who have some experience, who have made some apps. So both has their jobs available. It's depend upon how efficient you are. So Deepak says, I'm interested in to learn Java from beginning. Oh, okay. So Deepak, what you can do is you can send a mail to teluskotraining@gmail.com. So I'm sending you email ID in the chat window. Just send an email to this email ID. You will get the details how to register. So my team handles all this thing nowadays. So yes, yes, Bharat. Okay, please start learning Java. Okay, don't think about anything else. Oh, so Adul says he passed his Oracle exam because of my videos. I'm feeling so happy today. At least my videos are helping people to get into something. So thank you so much. That's the okay. We have one last question. Okay, we have two more questions. Dhruv, hey, hi Dhruv. Anyway, we are meeting today in evening. So will learning Swift will make you an iOS developer? Yes. If you know Swift and if you can make an app and using Swift, you can be an iOS developer. And then we have is JavaScript the future? Kind of. See, when you say it's the future, that doesn't mean that it will beat everything. I mean, when you say JavaScript is future, yes, it's a future, but it doesn't mean that it will stop Java, it will stop C programming. So everyone will learn all this programming language will be on top in parallel. Okay, no one will try to beat each other because everyone have their own advantages and own drawbacks, right? So yes, JavaScript will be the future. So that's it. That's it from this session. If you liked it, please click on the like button. If you liked it more, do share with your friends. Let them know about this channel so that next time I will be getting more viewers. This time only 34 people are watching live now. So people are coming and going. So 33 people are watching now. Do share with your friends and do subscribe to the channel. That's it. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much once again.